You remember the last time he barked, but not out of joy. There was something in his eyes. A different gleam, as if behind that fluffy fur and canine smile, a thought was burning. Why did you do that to me? Today, you're going to discover the untold side of the German Spitz, a dog bred for luxury, yet carrying deep feelings. And when it feels anger, it's not loud. It's silent and persistent. In today's video, we'll uncover the origin, secrets, and the reasons why he might not like you so much. But be careful. What you discover might change the way you look at him. Technical specifications, official name, German Spitz, origin, Germany, height, 18 to 20 centimeters, 7 to 8.7 inches, weight, 1.4 to 3.2 kilograms, 3.1 to 7.1 pounds. Life expectancy, 12 to 16 years, group, companion dogs, coat, long, dense, and double. Personality, alert, intelligent, and surprisingly emotional, small in size, but enormous in ego. Carries centuries of human genetic selection within it, but is too much molding awaken. Consequences. Now that you know him on the outside, it's time to understand what shaped him on the inside. It all began hundreds of years ago, in the cold regions of Northern Europe. Their robust and hard-working ancestors gave rise to what would become the German Spitz. It wasn't just a lapdog, it was a survivor, a village sentinel, accustomed to the biting cold and the constant duty of vigilance. But time passed, and what was once strength and function became an ornament. The 18th century German aristocracy saw something more valuable than courage in the small Spitz: its appearance. The exuberant fur, the delicate muzzle, the curled tail like a plume, perfect for parading in noble salons. That's when the manipulations began. Selective breeding to make him smaller and smaller, cuter and cuter, less and less dogged out. In the Victorian era, the obsession spread like a fever across Europe. Queen Victoria, by adopting a miniature Spitz, launched a cruel trend: the smaller, the better. And with that, the animal's nature was pushed to the background. Buried under layers of fur and vanity, the Spitz stopped being a guardian and became a decoration. But what happens when an ancient spirit is trapped inside a fragile, ornate body? When its freedom is exchanged for a pink ribbon, that's when the ghosts of the past begin to growl. Because behind that plush smile, there is still an animal trying to remember who it was. Now that you know its origins, let's discover how this dog became a worldwide craze and the problems it unleashed. It only took Queen Victoria appearing in public with a miniature Spitz in her lap for the breed's fate to be sealed. What was once a robust guard dog now paraded as a luxury accessory, and in the world obeyed. Breeders rushed to produce smaller and smaller specimens, purer and purer, more and more marketable. And the worst part, it worked. In the 20th century, the German Spitz, more specifically the Pomeranian type, was already a symbol of status. American celebrities began to appear with their pompous lapdogs, always ready to pose for photos, fit into bags, and illicit size. Social media, of course, delivered the final blow. Profiles with millions of followers showed edited, groomed, almost unreal Spitzes, a parade of walking plush toys, viral videos, ridiculous costumes, domesticated tricks, all in the name of cuteness, all in the name of the click, all in the name of an image that completely ignores who the dog truly is. But no, one wanted to see the other side. No one showed the Spitz that barks out of frustration, the one that bites out of anxiety, the one that suffers in silence from living in a body reduced to aesthetics, and in an environment that demands passivity from it. Because, despite its voluminous fur and compact size, it still carries the sentinel instinct in its blood. It wasn't born to be a trinket, but no one tells this to the modern consumer. What was once a symbol of nobility became another marketing product. The Spitz was sold as perfect for apartments, ideal for families, loving with everyone. And if it growls, oh, it's temperamental. If it bites, just a small dog thing. If it suffers from tracheal collapse or separation anxiety, it's just part of the breed. But what it really needs is respect, now that fame has molded it. The question is, what's left of its true essence? And the worst was yet to come. The search for perfection not only distorted the German Spitz's personality, it almost destroyed its physical integrity with a mini, micro, teacup craze. Unscrupulous breeders found a lucrative niche: irresponsible crossbreeding, inbreeding fragile puppies, all in the name of diminutive size and an eternal puppy appearance. The result? Spitzes with crooked legs, misaligned jaws, heart problems, patellar luxation, tracheal collapse, an entire generation condemned to live beautiful and sick. But that sells, doesn't it? It sells because no one wants to know if the dog is well. They want to know if it matches the aesthetic of the feed, if it's photogenic, if it fits in a bag. The Spitz, once a symbol of vigor and bravery, became an easy target for human greed. And when problems arise, and they always do, the blame, of course, falls on the dog. This dog barks too much. It's aggressive with strangers, not suitable for children. No, he just wasn't made to live as an ornament. Criticism came from veterinarians, trainers, even serious breed clubs. There were attempts to control, to preserve the traditional lineage. But how to fight against the market of likes? The responsible community cries out for awareness. While sales pages promise mini Spitz with pedigree for absurd prices and zero criteria, and the cruelest irony, while the toy Spitz is celebrated in digital shop windows, the original, larger version, with its Nordic roots intact, is barely remembered. It's on the verge of being erased. A robust, alert dog with a guardian soul, replaced by a fragile trinket that needs extreme care to not collapse at the slightest fright. the Spitz is not facing genetic extinction. It's facing moral extinction. And the uncomfortable question remains, who still sees the dog behind the fur? But if you think the worst are the opportunistic breeders, wait until you see what science itself has to say. Now, let's talk about what no one tells you when you let yourself be seduced by a German Spitz on Instagram. This is not the perfect dog you see in photos, no. The Spitz, with its exuberant coat and cute expression, requires care that many ignore. And this care can determine its health or survival. First of all, the fur. Don't be fooled by this thick, lush coat. It's not just charming, it's a challenge. The German Spitz sheds constantly, and if you don't brush it regularly, the undercoat starts to mat, creating knots that can lead to skin infections. And yes, bathing needs to be frequent, but be careful with aggressive chemicals, which can damage its sensitive skin. Now, diseases. The German Spitz is a breed with serious genetic problems. Among the most common conditions are patellar luxation, which can cause chronic pain, and even difficulty walking. Heart problems very prevalent in poorly cared for lineages, and respiratory problems like tracheal collapse, which is a nightmare for both dog and owner. And as if that weren't enough, there's the dreaded hypothyroidism. This condition, which affects the thyroid gland, can cause weight gain, excessive fatigue, and even hair loss, a problem for the uninformed owner, a nightmare for the little dog. But pay attention, these health problems are not normal for the breed. They are reflections of a mistreated lineage that lacks genetic support. Many Spitzes nowadays suffer because they were bred to look cute on Instagram, not to have a healthy life. And worst of all, when you buy a mini or micro Spitz, you're not just acquiring a sick dog, you're perpetuating a cycle of suffering that costs lives. The lack of proper care, the negligence of people who have no idea what it truly means to care for a German Spitz, is transforming what should be a vibrant and healthy dog into a victim of the system. If you are not willing to invest time and money to give your Spitz the health and quality of life it deserves, think twice before getting involved in this game. But there's something else the experts don't want you to know. If you think you know everything about the German Spitz, think again. Even with all the advances in veterinary science, there is still much mystery surrounding this breed. And no, it's not just about how to keep it cute in photos. There are several scientific questions that remain unexplained. The main one is the fact that, despite being a beloved breed by many, the genetic origin of the German Spitz still generates controversy. Many experts disagree about the influences of other breeds on the development of the modern Spitz, while some believe it has clear roots in Nordic dogs like Huskies. Others insist there is a mix of hidden lineages that contributed to the breed's physical characteristics and temperament. And if you think health issues are just a product of human negligence, there are deeper genetic mysteries. The fact that the German Spitz is prone to so many hereditary diseases, like heart and respiratory problems, raises uncomfortable questions. Why does such a perfect breed seem to be so destined for a life of illness and suffering? The real indignation comes when you realize that these problems could be avoided with rigorous genetic control, but instead, what we see are negligent breeders, prioritizing appearance over the animal's health. And worse, these practices continue without effective supervision. And if that weren't enough, the pet industry makes millions promoting this breed as something to be copied and reproduced without any consideration for the animal's quality of life. The mysteries don't stop there. Human curiosity and the obsession with modifying animals to suit our aesthetic tastes may be creating more problems than solutions. What science still doesn't know, or perhaps prefers not to admit, is how much the entertainment system surrounding the German Spitz is creating a legacy of suffering for these dogs. And if you think you know what you're doing by choosing a Spitz, know that you may be buying more mystery, more pain, and more complication than you actually imagine. But there are more mysteries about the origin of this breed. Something more obscure that few dare to discuss. 10 reasons why he might not like you. 1. You're trying to be an Instagram star. If you think the cuteness of the German Spitz is enough to gain followers on social media, you'd better rethink your approach. This breed wasn't made to be a vanity accessory. They are dogs with strong personalities and require genuine attention. If you only want him for his looks, the consequences will be swift. 2. Your energy is unbearable. The German Spitz has immense energy and demands constant exercise. If you're not willing to spend hours of your day playing and giving him the activity he needs, he'll start behaving like a tornado. And no one will find it funny. 3. You think he's just cute and not a demanding animal. They are cute, yes, but don't be fooled. Spitzes are stubborn, dominant, and if not properly socialized, can be a nightmare for other animals and people. His cuteness can blind you to the fact that he needs training, discipline, and a lot of love. If you can't provide that, it's time to reconsider, for you see him as a status symbol, not a living being. If you buy a German Spitz just to impress others, know that he will notice, and like any other living being, he will not tolerate being treated as an accessory. 5. You don't care about his health. As we've seen, this breed has a history of genetic diseases. If you're not prepared to deal with these health problems and, instead, choose to ignore the necessary care, this can turn into a frustrating and expensive experience. 6. You think you're the only one who can love a Spitz. If you're the type to be possessive and controlling with your pet, know that the German Spitz won't let itself be dominated so easily. He may even become attached to you, but deep down, he will want his independence. 7. Your temperament is incompatible with his. These dogs are loyal, but they are also suspicious and reserved with strangers if you have a busy and impersonal lifestyle. The Spitz may be more of a problem for you than a companion. Hey, you don't want to deal with the fur. Yes, they are beautiful, but this fur, my friends, is a real nightmare. If you don't have the patience to brush every day, prepare for a true fur storm throughout the house. 9. You don't know what's necessary for a purebred dog. The German Spitz is not for everyone. If you have no experience with purebred dogs, you may fall into the traps of raising an animal with behavioral problems due to lack of knowledge. 10. You don't have time for him. Is there simply no space in your life for a German Spitz? Then, perhaps it's best to lead this breed to those who can truly give him what he needs, and who aren't just chasing a passing trend. Now, with so many reasons to question your choice, it's time to reflect. Are you really prepared for the German Spitz? Or are you just following the trend? If you think you know everything about the Spitz, just wait until you hear what comes next. Something few people know, and that completely changes the perception of this breed. Are you ready? And now, with everything you've learned about the German Spitz, do you still think you're prepared for this breed? The cuteness, the energy, the intense personality, all of this places the German Spitz on a unique level among purebred dogs. But remember, not everyone is prepared to deal with such a strong temperament. Now, let's stop here and reflect. Did you identify with any of these points? Or perhaps you're thinking you're ready for this challenge. Maybe you're the person who knows exactly what to do to handle a German Spitz. But the story doesn't end here. As you've seen, this breed isn't just about cuteness, and what comes next might surprise you even more. Did you know that the origin of the German Spitz is full of little-known mysteries and secrets? Secrets that can change everything you think about the history of this breed. In the next video, we're going to reveal the truth behind a little discussed curiosity about the German Spitz. Something that will make you completely rethink your choice. Is he really as harmless as he seems? Don't miss it. Subscribe, like, and share this video. And stay tuned for the revelation that's about to happen. And remember, if you have a German Spitz, or are thinking of getting one, what you've just learned may be just the beginning of a much more complex journey. See you in the next video.